Hey YouTube, it's Jurrac Master, and I've got my Dino Rabbit deck profile for you guys. This one is one that will probably evolve quite a bit. Gonna get right into it, and I'll explain a little bit of it after. So, most of it should be pretty straightforward, but I'll get to some of the stuff that's a little different and explain it to you guys. So, obviously, 3 Rescue Rabbit, 3 Sabersaurus, and 3 Cabazals. Next up, the tour guide engine, so 3 tour guides, Sangan. Then the 3 Veilers, as is pretty standard for the format. Then I'm main decking 1 Kaiku and 1 Thunder King, and then a Gores. I opted out of Blackluster Soldier in this build, so. Then the spells, I have 2 Lance, 2 Chalice, 3 MST, Heavy Storm, Book of Moon, Pot of Avarice, Monster Reborn, and Dark Hole. Finally, for the main deck, I have the traps are Solemn Judgment, 2 Solemn Warning, 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 Deep Prison, 1 Fiendish Chain, and 2 Raigeki Break. That's the main deck. I'll explain some things in a minute. Just gonna run through the extra deck and the side deck real quick. For the extra deck, I have 2 Logia and 2 Dolka. That's pretty standard as far as I can tell in this deck. Then I have Roach, Pearl, Utopia, Mystroke, Disigma. I guess he's not really playable at this point, but he's in there because I can play him at my locals. Yeah, you can throw anything in there, really. It doesn't matter. I play 2 Leviair, 1 Leviathan Dragon, 1 Zen Mains, 1 Tempo, and 1 Cataster. So, just quickly run through the side deck. I side deck 2 Snowman Eater and 1 Spirit Reaper. I only have 2 Snowman Eater. I'd probably take out the Spirit Reaper for a 3rd Snowman Eater, but for now that's what I've got. Side 2 more Kaikus, 2 Soul Takers, 3 Macro, 2 Decree, Deep Prison, and 2 Dust Tornado. So that's the deck itself. I'm gonna jump into some of the reasons that I play some of this stuff and why this deck probably looks so weird to some of you guys. Obviously, no dualities, as you guys saw. I'm not a fan of it in this deck. When I was playing it, it's just the deck seems so defenseless unless you've already got something going, so you can't really afford to be not special summoning for a turn. So that was my take on it. The Kaiku I main deck just as another option for Chaos Dragons. It's an extra normal summon, and it's a little bit stronger. I think I've already voiced my opinion on Jurrac Guaiba in this deck. I just don't like it. I find the 1700 just doesn't work too well in this deck. It works well in Jurrac's, where you're gearing yourself to be able to do that right, to be able to set up and control the opponent to the point where 1700 attack is good. It used to just be good to have 1700 attack, but now we're seeing a format with a lot more decks running stronger monsters, or getting around your 1700 in some other way. So, it's harder to play Guaiba as effectively as it used to be, just a simple put it in the deck and it works fine on its own kind of thing. So, he's an 1800, and his effect is really nice. It helps in so many ways to just have one main decked in a lot of decks, honestly. The 1 Thunder King, also it's a 1900 attack. I mean, I know we've got we've already got Sabersaurus in there for that, but he's another 1900 attack, but he has an effect, and I really like that he has the effect. His effect is good. We all know Thunder King. He's got a good effect. That's why we use him, and he's just a good card to have around main deck. He's not for any particular matchup. I guess he kind of hurts heroes if you put him down first turn, and heroes annoy me, so I guess that's kind of a reason I put him in here, but for the most part, I'd say it's just to have the extra monster that works well. Other than that, I think the monsters are pretty straightforward in this deck. I prefer 2 lances in Dino Rabbit because we're not really running things over, and that's the other use for lance. So if the only use for lance that you're really going to use as often is to protect yourself, you really only need 2 as opposed to 3. When you're using it for both purposes more often, then you kind of need 3 just to have it all the time. The 2 chalices, I've seen that emerging a lot, so it really does help. I tested that out. It's just good to have the extra monster effect negation. I think 3 MST is pretty standard at this point, so I'm not really going to explain it. Well, standard for Rabbit. I mean, I'm not a Rabbit expert by any means. I just like the deck because it uses dinosaurs and goes into the Evil Czars, so yeah, that's my reason for liking the deck. So, the 1 Fiendish Chain, I don't really need 2 in here, that's really it. It was just a space choice. But it is good to have a Fiendish Chain or a Safe Zone or something like that. I prefer Fiendish Chain. The 2 Raigeki breaks are in there because I noticed they work really well, especially in this format where everyone's just, if you set a card, they're just going to try to MST it, so they're going to minus themselves. And especially in a deck where you're probably likely to have like a spare Kabazals in your hand that you don't want, if that's the case, then you can discard it off of this, obviously pop something, and it's just dead cards in hand, or whenever the opponent, like that dead Rescue Rabbit, because you can't get that Pot of Avarice, and you've already used the effect, or you've drawn too many of the vanillas. A Veiler against an opponent that doesn't really play enough effect monsters. All that kind of thing can really be helpful, especially with priority gone. It's a much better card now, so I find it works very well. I don't think too much in the extra deck needs explaining, except for, hang on, I guess my choice to run Sigma, I can explain that. A lot of times you'll find yourself summoning, especially in my build where I'm running, I mean, I guess in any build they're going to be running Guaibas over my choices, but where I'm running these, I'll find them floating on the field a lot, and I really won't need them. And if the opponent has something that a Lagia or Dolka can't get over, this deck seems less geared to defeat that than my Jurracs that I build. Those can easily clear out monsters or get around monsters so that a Lagia or a Dolka isn't at a disadvantage against a stronger monster, but in this deck, you know, it's kind of harder to do that. And whereas it's nice to bring out Gemnite Pearl because of the 2600, I don't think that it's always the best choice. If you can get that third out there by having a floating level 4 and then doing Rabbit, it gets you Sigma, and Sigma's effect is very good. It steals all those effect monsters and stuff. So, say they have 2 troublesome monsters, like they've got a Utopia or something, especially Utopia, you can steal that monster from them, and, just get it out of the way, and that's just really good. If they've got Lagia or Dolka, you're in trouble. If they've got Dolka, you can run it over, but then that just leaves you with another monster that has a strong attack, and it gets around like the Chaos Dragons. Their Light Pulsar, you can steal that instead of bumping heads with it or running over it with your Gemnite Pearl. Just a lot of reasons that this card is going to be very good. looking forward to putting that in my Lightsworn deck as well. I find that to be a very interesting idea, because Lightsworn get out a lot of level 4s and a lot of level 3s real easy. So a quick rundown of the choices I made in the side deck. Obviously this thing's good in the mirror, I know that. Reaper not as good anymore because, especially in the mirror, everyone's running Soul Taker and Fiendish Chain, and everyone's got outs to it. It really shouldn't be in here, it's just there as something else instead of the third Snowman Eater. The next two, the Kaikus, those are obviously in there for Chaos Dragons and other such things that Kaiku works well against, other Chaos decks, I guess. So next up, Soul Takers. I know this is a pretty popular card to run against a lot of decks. I have to do a little more research into it and what it's really good against and what it's just okay against. But as far as I know, it can be sided in against a lot of decks that, you know, might bring out monsters that you're not equipped to deal with in this deck, and that's the reason a lot of people play it, I guess. And the only drawback is it's like Upstart Goblin, the opponent gains life points, but if it puts you at that much advantage, what's 1,000 life points gonna really do for the opponent? The 3 Macrocosmos, it's come to my attention that a lot of people are maining like 2 Macrocosmos and Rabbit. I'm not a fan. You face a lot of Rabbit decks these days. What can I say? That is just a really big problem that I would face if I was gonna main Macrocosmos. It's just, I want to be able to win the mirror, especially when it's that common. Back with, if I was running Jurracs, I could main whatever I wanted. That doesn't work well in the mirror because it's Jurracs, who's gonna run them and who am I gonna face that's gonna be in a mirror match with me? But with a deck as mainstream as Dino Rabbit, if Macrocosmos doesn't work well against it, Macrocosmos doesn't work well against it. And as often as you're gonna face them, it's not really a great idea. As far as I know, it's kind of just a bad idea to main it, as far as I can tell. I know it kind of hurts Chaos Dragons, and it kind of hurts a lot of other decks, but Chaos Dragons have plenty of back row hate. They're prepared for it game 1, so I think that the risk of running it main deck is higher than the reward, and that's not a good thing. What I'd have to say is that Macro is a good side at 3 for decks that, you really need to face with. And that way it can come in with other side deck stuff for that deck that will better equip you to win. I just don't really like the Macro build as well, and I'll have to play it a little more, but I think it's not really the best way to try to go at this point. The Decrees are in there, obviously, because of stuff like Chain Burn and Final Countdown and stupid things like that. You have to have something for those decks, right? I mean, that's all you can say. It's been a while since I've done a full side deck breakdown for you guys. Chaos Dragons. That's all I have to say there. This one can go in against quite a few decks, just anything that you need more back row hate for. Because this deck only really has 4 back row hate cards. I guess Raigeki Break you can count, but the main ones are obviously Heavy Storm and the 3 MSTs. So anything else you have to deal with, this goes towards that. So that's it for the actual deck, and the analysis of the deck and my choices. I'll tell you guys how it does for me. I mean, I don't have too many opportunities to test these things off of Dueling Network, so I'll do what I can on Dueling Network, but as I've said, that's kind of an inconsistent place to test things. Just a few things I want to say. I do have a Laval deck update coming up. I don't know if this video will be up when Lord Solar Prime has his deck video of his Lavals. I don't know for sure. My build is probably always going to be pretty similar to him, especially because after dueling him, I'm going to have stolen a few of his ideas. Not too many that I didn't already use. It's just, when I was dueling him with my own Lavals, I forgot to put in Foolish Burial and Reinforcement of the Army and Gores and stuff like that. So my Lavals were terrible when I faced him with them, so it's no wonder I lost the mirror so bad. But yeah, I mean, that was all good. And another thing is, if you guys ever see a video of mine and I'm running like rocking the commons or something, or you could hollow out my deck more. Like if you had 2 supers of this, or I don't know, I only had 1 Thunder King in here, but if you had like Secret Thunder Kings, I really like max rarity cards. Eventually I'll probably upgrade my tour guides to Secret Rare, but for now the Starfoil is as good as it's gonna get. So if you guys have things, or see things that I'm running at low rarity, please do, if you have them and are willing to trade the high rarity cards, I would really be interested in that. So if you just have one of those, just contact me. I'd be glad to work something out with you guys. So I guess that's the end of the video. I'll just put this out there. I guess that's the end of the video. So, yeah, there's really nothing left to say. I think I've covered everything. The second I stop recording, though, you know I'm going to, like, smack myself in the face and think, like, you're an idiot, you forgot one last thing. But, yeah, until next time, guys, I hope you do enjoy this, this deck from me. I think mine's kind of original. I mean, the Kaiku and the Thunder King, obviously, are different, but what can I say? That's just my playstyle, is having a few different things in there, and whatever changes it to make it fit me and the way I play better is what I'm going to play. So I hope that you guys enjoy this and think that it'll work well. I haven't tested it too much yet, so we'll see how it goes, and I'll update you guys on that. Keep your eyes out for the Laval deck update. Any other decks I have coming at you guys. I got a lot of them coming now, now that I have these tour guides, and now that some of the newer stuff is out. So, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry this was a slightly longer video, but for you guys that stuck through it and watched the whole thing, I thank you, and have a nice day.